what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mid-Level Media. I am excited today because we are talking about a new 4K. We are talking about Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World on 4K for the first time from Disney with this nice 4K steelbook that is currently sold out. So I definitely want to call that out. We'll talk about that a little bit in this video, guys, but that's just kind of the disappointing nature of Disney and how they're choosing to roll out these releases. Steelbook only, making them extremely limited and really hard to get. It's like we can't just get something good. You know, Disney just can't do a good thing for physical media. It's like they do one good thing and it's like 5 negative things to come along with it. But I'm excited to talk about this nonetheless. This is one that I did pre-order right away, which I would advise you guys to do. I try to do a good job of keeping you guys up to date, like when this stuff is up for pre-order, when it comes back in stock, because we just saw the Kingdom of Heaven 4K Steelbook come back in stock. I try to post this stuff just because I know just how limited this stuff is with Disney. Like they print a certain amount of copies, it sells out, and then it takes them like a couple of months to print more. Like that's just how they've chosen to roll this stuff out. I don't like it. I really don't, but that's just kind of the way it is if you want to get some of these Disney upgrades. And I don't think I've seen Tombstone come back in stock since I believe May is the last time I saw that in stock. There are UK options though as well. I do believe that the regular standard version you can get in the UK. I also think the Steelbook is still available if you just want to get this. It's the same Steelbook, but you can also get it in the UK. I'll try to link some options down below, but please do not, because this thing's going for like $119 on Amazon right now, and God knows what it's going for on eBay. Please do not jump on those sites and pay 120, 130 bucks to get Master and Commander, because you can't wait. It will come back in stock. It was not like limited to a certain number like the Nightmare on Elm Street set. It'll come back in stock at some point. It's only a matter of time, and I'll be here to update you when it does. Man, I talked about that far more than I wanted to, but we're going to talk about the movie itself because I would say this was kind of a first time watch. I remember watching part of it when I was a teenager, and I remember being bored, and I think I just turned it off. It's not that I didn't watch like historical dramas and movies like this when I was a kid. I mean, I loved The Patriot. That was one of my favorite movies. Gladiator, I loved that film. But there was just something about this movie at that particular time in my life. I just wasn't engaged with it. But we'll also be unboxing this gorgeous steelbook. It really is a nice steelbook, and I was just in the mood to watch this movie. The premise sounded really interesting, so that's why I jumped into this. And the price wasn't too bad at first at $39.99. So we'll talk about the film. We'll talk about the 4K presentation. I don't have any of the past releases to really compare this 4K presentation to let you know like how big of an upgrade it is. I just got the Blu-ray disc that's in this set, and I believe that the Blu-ray disc in here was upgraded and scanned in 4K. At least it kind of looked like that when I watched it. And let's just dig into it. So this movie was directed by Peter Weir, which I don't think I've seen enough of his filmography. I have seen Witness, Harrison Ford movie. That's a great film. And obviously The Truman Show, one of my all-time favorite movies. But outside of those two and this one, I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head the other films he's directed. I think Picnic at Hanging Rock, but I haven't seen that movie. But damn, like Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World, I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot. Like, I guess I would say this is kind of my first time watching it and engaging with it. But this was a hell of a movie, a hell of experience. Like, I really enjoyed it. Russell Crowe was fantastic in this movie. And basically what the film is about is it's set back in the early 1800s, like during the Napoleon era. And you've got this British ship, this British commander who's played by Russell Crowe that's leading his crew to take down this French war vessel. And so it's kind of like a game of cat and mouse between these two ships, and they're like next to South America, like they're going down the coast of South America. So they're on the far side of the world. That's where the title comes from. And they're just kind of chasing each other and trying to take each other out like through the movie. And it's really cool, just like some of the situations that come up and some of the maneuvering that they have to do to get out of certain situations. And it was just a really cool movie. And the actual like naval like warfare, like shooting the cannons and stuff, I've never seen anything like that on film before. I feel like that was done like so well. Like it was so freaking cool and awesome. And we'll talk about that again when we talk about the sound. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie far more than I expected to. I was like, oh, this is like 2 hours and 15 minutes. And it's like I expected to enjoy it, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna feel the runtime is gonna be a little bit of a slog. It really wasn't. Like I thought this movie was entertaining from start to finish. I sat there, watched the whole thing, was completely locked in and engaged, and just really enjoyed it. So yeah, and Paul Bettany, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's also in the film Vision, from the Marvel Universe. And I really liked his and Russell Crowe's chemistry together. He plays the doctor on the ship who's kind of interested in science and collecting these creatures and doing research and stuff like that. That's kind of his motivation for being there. But then Russell Crowe's like, we got to get the job done. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take down this ship. We don't have time for your hobbies. That's what he says at one point in the movie. So I like their relationship with each other. I thought they had really good chemistry. The rest of the cast, I'll be honest, little throwaway. I wasn't really engaged with anybody in the movie outside of Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany. So maybe they could have done a better job of like fleshing out some of those other characters. But other than that, like I thought it was a pretty damn good movie. And I was actually kind of shocked at how much I enjoyed this film. But yeah, really, really strong film. Really enjoyed Master and Commander. Let's get into the actual 4K, guys. So this is a native 4K, and this movie was shot on film. It came out in 2003. They were kind of shifting to digital and stuff around that time, but this movie was shot on 35 millimeter, and it's a native 4K. It's got HDR. It's got Dolby Vision. I'm going to be completely honest. So the 4K is on a 66 gigabyte disc, which is fine. Like if that's all the room you need, then that's fine. But I do feel like the 4K suffered a little bit. I feel like if it was on that full like 100 gigabyte disc, it would have had more room to breathe, because there were some moments where I noticed like the actual quality kind of dip a little bit, at least like from my eyes. And I'm watching this on my 65-inch OLED TV. It's a C2, LG C2. So I've got a pretty decent setup to be able to view this stuff. I've got my settings set to filmmaker mode, and I'm watching the movie, and I don't know, there were parts that look really great, like really cleaned up, really crisp, really nice. And then there were other parts that I was just like, oh, this looks almost like Blu-ray quality is how this looks. So I wasn't like completely blown away with the picture quality. And then the HDR and the Dolby Vision, like this movie's kind of just a really gloomy film in general. A lot of it takes place at night as well as the ships are kind of navigating the ocean. And I feel like with the HDR, it did help you, make out more stuff in the night, some more of those nighttime sequences. They had good detail, like people by candlelight and stuff. Like I feel like the shadows, like with that HDR, was done very well. The contrast and stuff. I thought that all that looked good. Everything was perfectly lit and perfectly defined as far as like the skin tones and just the actual people themselves. The clothing looked fantastic. Incredible detail on the clothing. But I will say in certain scenes, it was, and there's been this criticism on certain 4Ks before, and I've usually been on the opposing side, but like Heat and Friday the 13th, people complained about those being too dark. I don't know how you can be critical of those and not be critical of this 4K, because this 4K had some sequences that were very dark, and I struggled to make out like even what was going on. And like I got my TV settings adjusted like just fine. Everything's fine. My brightness levels are fine. Okay, because I know that's the first thing people will say in the comment section. Everything's, calibrated to my liking. Okay, not professionally calibrated, but calibrated how I like it to be. And I just thought that certain scenes were just a little bit too dark. That HDR and that Dolby Vision just kind of took over, I feel like, and just dimmed things, just a little bit more than I would ordinarily like them to be. But other than that, guys, it is a nice, like crisp picture quality. Again, I can't compare this to the past Blu-ray. I can't really tell you how it compares to that past Blu-ray or the past DVD. I imagine it's miles ahead of the DVD. But it's a nice 4K. Is it a great 4K? Am I going to put this in my top 10 of the year? Probably not. But I think it's a pretty solid 4K, and there are some really stunning sequences in this film, the cinematography, just how the ships look on the ocean, just like some of those camera views and stuff. Everything looks great. It all looks great. It all looks how you would think it should look in 4K. I just think that certain scenes, like in particular inside the ship, like when they're having those more quiet, intimate moments in the cabins and the rooms, I think that some of those scenes could have looked better. But like everything else, like the actual battle sequences and stuff, all that stuff looked great, which is kind of probably what you're buying this for anyway. So 4K didn't blow me away. But I thought it was solid overall. I just got a few criticisms. Now let's get into the audio, guys. Audio wise, you got a Dolby Atmos upgrade here. You got Dolby True HD 7.1. You got Spanish, French, German, Czech audio options as well with this. But the audio here, guys, now I don't have that full Atmos setup, okay? I'll admit that right now. I've got a soundbar. I've got a subwoofer. My soundbar is supposed to simulate that Dolby Atmos. Okay, but I can tell you, I don't think I've had an experience like this, like watch, and I made sure that I watched this in the daytime. So because I watch a lot of movies in the morning, early in the morning, late at nights, and I don't want to wake my wife and kids up when I'm doing that. So I watched this in the middle of the day so I could crank it up as loud as I wanted it to. And I don't think I've had a sound experience like this since Twister last year on 4K, which the sound on that was incredible. But this movie has got some excellent sound, and not even just the battle sequences where you hear the cannons firing, you know, from one ship to the other, and there's all kinds of destruction and debris flying everywhere. But just like I said, the quieter moments on the ship when they're just sailing, you hear the wind, you know, flapping the sails and stuff. Just all that was really awesome. And just completely immersed you in the movie sound wise with that Dolby Atmos. So I can't say enough good things about the sound. Like there's one sequence where there's this big like storm and waves and stuff. And I just talked about Poseidon on 4K, which has a huge wave, but that doesn't have Dolby Atmos. So this, like with Dolby Atmos, guys, it sounded so incredible. I feel like that Atmos upgrade is worth the price of admission for this 4K, even though the 4K is not the greatest, but I think this audio upgrade is worth it. But let's go ahead and get into the unboxing of the Steelbook, guys. Look at that Steelbook. It's got a nice J card right there as well that has an image, a full image of the Steelbook. I can't remember if the Tombstone Steelbook had that as well, but really nice Steelbook. Flip it to the back. You got the details right there. Bonus materials, which we'll get into here in a second. You got the specs, you got the casting list, all that good stuff. Let's remove the J card. And right there, and yeah, I love this Steelbook. I think it's a great Steelbook. I love the compass on the back as well. I actually do like it more than the Tombstone Steelbook. I think this is one of the better Steelbooks that Disney has done recently. Then you open it up, you got a digital code. I love the interior artwork, and that is kind of the aesthetic of the film, that really like gloomy green, bluish kind of aesthetic. Not that green, of course, but just kind of has a very gloomy aesthetic. But I love that that artwork, that interior artwork right there. It's got some nice disc art as well. You do have a 4K here, and you also have a Blu-ray. And I don't believe they noted this in the press materials, but I have to imagine this Blu-ray, because it's got a different menu, or it's got the same menu as this 4K, which I think is probably a different menu than the other Blu-ray. So I have to imagine that this is a different Blu-ray from the Blu-ray of the past. And I do think it's a 4K scan on this Blu-ray, but I could always be wrong. But then you got the full image right there. I'll show you the back. You got the full image of the Steelbook and all the glory, all the artwork glory. And diving into the special features real quick, guys, there's really nothing here. And I asked you guys in the beginning to let me know, like on past releases, were there more special features than this? I think there's some deleted scenes, and then there's a historical and geographical trivia track. There's a pop-up map. And there's all kinds of different like options to like choose which point of the movie to start. I don't know. It's kind of weird. There was so many different like options to pick from. Like you could go in alphabetical order and pick all these like different things, and it would lead you to certain points in the movie. Kind of strange. I'd never really seen anything like that before. Kind of reminded me of something they would do back in the DVD era. So really nothing new, guys, in terms of special features, which I always have to knock a release for. And yes, I know that most people are getting this for the audio visual upgrade. I get that, but I'm critiquing all aspects of these releases, guys. And, you know, special features, it's a really important thing to me. And I think it would have been nice to add like an audio commentary, or at least like one new feature retrospective on the film with just some people that worked on the film or something. It could have been 5-6 minutes long. You know, I mean, Warner Brothers is doing new features right now. I mean, Lionsgate's doing new features. I don't think it's too much to ask to put a little bit of extra in these releases. I mean, you're charging $40 or $55, I think Kingdom of Heaven was when it first came out. So I think that I don't think it's too much to ask. I really don't. But again, some people aren't going to care, and that's fine. But I do. So I'm going to critique it for that. So yeah, no features here, but let me know again, were there features missing? Because Tombstone, there were features missing. An entire cut was missing from Tombstone because I think there's a director's cut on the DVD set. But yeah, that's my review of Master and Commander on 4K. I think it's a solid 4K, great steelbook, and I really enjoyed the movie. I will link whatever I can find down below in the description if I can find the UK steelbook, the UK slipcover, so you guys can order this thing. But if you want the US version, I'll link that down below as well, but just do not buy it at $120. Wait until it comes back because I'm almost certain that it will come back at some point. Maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, a year. I don't know. It'll come back. I'm pretty certain. I'm about 90% sure it'll come back at some point, and I'll be here to let you guys know when it does. But thank you all so much for watching my review. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.